Hello and welcome to another Monday edition of Footy Talk. Emma Lawrence and Gorden Tallis. Now, Gordy, lots of footy to get through.
But
first off, let's talk through what was the hot topic all week, the RLPA and the players boycotting media because this deal is not done yet with the NRL. You had a bit of an altercation or a heated discussion, let's say. Heated discussion.
I didn't have an altercation. I just asked simple fan, simple ex-player, simple a love of the game type of question to the guy that's asking for something, but apparently I don't get it.
So did you find that condescending from Clint Newton?
Yeah, he's sort of as clear as mud. And that's why, right? So this is my theory on it. So the more I talk to Clint, the reason why he's banned the players from talking is because they're not across it. Mm. So if we could interview the 400 players, hey mate, what are you fighting for?
They don't know.
Just tell me, right? So I've got friends that are leaders or unions, right? And I'm a Labor family. We're a poor family that grew up, and we need that to help us get through because we don't negotiate as well as and they protect you, right? So. And I was part of the Rugby League Players Association, right? But the point is these players don't know what they're fighting for. And when you have a 6-page dossier, not one, like he couldn't tell us, so what are you fighting for? See, you don't quite get it. It's the bigger picture. Mm. And I could just keep on talking around in circles like that instead of coming. If he knew what he wanted, he would have told us, right?
Yeah.
That's why I say sitting and talking to him yesterday, I'm a real simple guy, and I told him I'm simple. Tell me what you want and I'll give it to you, or I'll give you as much as I can. If you want $100, I don't have it, and I've got 70, I'll give you 70. But you got to give me something in return for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's normal. That's life.
Yeah.
But they got 100 points.
Yeah. I don't think they
100 points
can articulate what they want. And I found that the very first media conference they had on Thursday afternoon, and Reedy was in there as well, and Reedy and I were asking a fair few questions, and I was working for 9 News, right? I have a minute 30 to explain to the viewers this entire story. So I wanted a simplistic answer. And I kept saying, Clint, what do you want? How can the NRL sort this tomorrow? And he kept saying, we just want a fair deal. They haven't come to the party. I said, yeah, but what do you actually want? And then their chairwoman, Deidre, took over and said, look, it is very complex and there are 100 action items that we didn't have met. And I found that quite condescending that they were two extremes. We just want a fair deal, not prepared to go into it, and then, oh, you won't understand. I followed up again and said, but can you just give us some bullet points so we can understand what are the top 3 issues? Right? Is it because the guys that have a career-ending injury, then they're screwed and they've got no money to look after them going forward for surgeries? Is it whatever it is, put it simplistically so that a fan can understand. I didn't even understand, and I've been working the game for a long time. And then eventually a couple of days later, after they got that feedback that, hey, no one understands what you're fighting for.
No one.
Then they released some frequently answered questions checklist.
So this is his last battle. He's going to turn, look, the media, look what they're doing, the NRL, and now he's going to turn it into a hate thing where the players don't know.
Yeah.
I watched Brad Arthur, right, who's given our game so much, right? He's the longest-serving coach at Parramatta, one of our biggest brands in the game. He coached up in North Queensland. He was a captain coach. So he's pretty much in his DNA rugby league. They said, what do you know? He goes, I'm not too sure. Mm. This is a coach. What about your son? Oh, mate, he'd have no idea.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the point that I'm trying. And then people think, I'm a player, right? People know me because I'm a player. People don't know me because I'm a media guy. People know me because I'm a player. I've walked this road. I've done exactly the same. That's why Clint, when he's standing there, and then he actually said himself, oh, mate, when I was young, I had no idea what was going on. Well, you got to explain to them what you are fighting, because they mightn't want all these things.
Yeah.
They might be happy. As I said, you've bargained and you got 400,000 average.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, I think. That's pretty good. That was the highest paid player. Mate, when I started, I think the highest paid player was on 100. So in this time, I think, and when COVID was around, he goes, but through COVID, everybody was losing their jobs, losing wages, losing a lot. Mm-mm. People were losing their lives.
Yeah.
And then the game kept on. Volandi's got, so I see that as, hey, we were pretty lucky that our game survived, and we've got the biggest deal that we've ever had money-wise, but they say it's not about money. And the games, I get that. But there's another argument with, don't take this the wrong way, go play for the West Tigers.
Yeah.
Because they only play 24 games a year.
Yeah.
But if you want to play
If you
for
wanna play
Penrith,
less.
if you want to play for Penrith, you might have to play 30.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go to the finals and you're going to play a World Club Challenge. So players play different games.
They all play different amounts of games.
All play different amounts. So if you are arguing that much about 2 games, go play for the bottom clubs.
Yeah. No, it's
Well,
true.
don't laugh, Charlie.
But
What?
also,
no. See, so, but like that, I get that one, right? So like, I get, yeah, look, mate, and there should be but that's not a reason not to talk. That's just, hey, come on, Pete, let's go.
Yeah.
Mate, what do we want? So what's the parada on what we're getting now? If we're going to play 2 more games, it just goes up an extra whatever it is, mate. We get, that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Right? Right, that might be $500,000 to it, because that's what they probably get to run out every, that might be it. It might be 250. It might be, hey, no, listen, those 2 games, there's going to be 500,000 extra that's going to go into grassroots to make sure that the kids' game's going, or whatever the deal is. But we don't know that.
Yeah, things change.
And when I did go fight for it, right, I wanted the kids. So I started my own competition, which has been going for 20-something years, and I give back. And lucky that I get some sponsors now, but for 22 years, I did it by myself to go make sure that every kid in Townsville started with 7 teams. Now it's at 80 this year capped of all coming around, and I get them all aboard because I love the game, because that's how I fell in love with it. So that's the part of the game that we need to make sure that the next stars are coming through, and hopefully that these guys that are fighting, and when I say the guys that are fighting, I'm talking about the Rugby League Players Association. I'm not talking about one player here. Because I don't think they know what they're fighting for, and I don't think they know what they're getting themselves in for.
Absolutely not. And I'm sure there are elements of in their list of 100 points they're fighting for. There are some that I'm sure.
I asked Clint off the record. No, it wasn't off the record because everything's on the record, right, with me. I spoke to him on Friday. He was, I don't think you get it. I don't think you get it. Well, I did. I sat out a year. I broke my neck. Yeah. I retired early. I went through a Super League war. Yeah. I've been through a lot in this game, but I love it, right? It's another one, but he doesn't realise, right, that what he's going to ask the players to do, that they'll have regret. And Craig Gower, like the Dally M, so we've done, like, mate, we've done all this. And I think now he's getting all these players, and yes. And I said, so how many players are across this out of the 400, or how many is there, 500? Yeah. I don't know exactly how many players. How many players are across this? We take 3 to every meeting.
So not many.
We take
really.
3.
Yeah. Or just 3 in total, you mean, not 3 from every representative.
3, and then that gets handed back down. And you know, and you've watched that game, if I tell you something, by the time it gets through 10 people, is it the same message?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. And the players, I've spoken to a number of players who are friends, and
they're all speaking out. No, and just one thing on the players. I love them, right? Yeah. I'm a player, right? But the players spend about $15 million a year out of their own money to be represented. How do they think they're getting represented at the moment? Yeah. So they pay Clint and they pay all their managers and all that who have all gone underground. That's how they're getting represented now. And if I paid someone money to get a deal done, if they paid their manager and he couldn't get that deal done, 20 months and he can't get the deal done, they need a new leader if that was their manager. And I wish they were more passionate about their own contracts.
Yeah, for sure.
I wish they were more passionate about their own contracts and the 7% that they give their own agents. So why don't they cut that back? Why don't they negotiate that and they get more money that way? Yeah. Why don't they negotiate Clint Newton's salary, which I don't know what he's on, because if I was paying him, for 20 months, I probably wouldn't be paying him that much anymore. I would have run out of money. Seriously. Yeah. If he's selling your house, you'd have to repaint it. Yeah. And wouldn't you? You'd have to renovate it again.
I just find
that's how long it's taken him.
Without even going into all of the points and individual things of what they're fighting for, I think they're, first off, the way they're reacting and us against the media and the constant, reps from the RLPA I've spoken to.
They keep walked out of here, right? So, and then, because I'm going to do this, because this is what it is about. Then the mics went off. Then he started sort of getting into us, and he turned, he had red face, and he got angry. Oh, it's personal. No, it's not personal. Why wouldn't this be in the paper? You turn the papers off you.
Yeah.
You said don't talk to them.
Yeah.
But you want everything that you want in the paper. 6 pages, well, for one, that costs a lot of money in advertising. You just don't get, the dribble in the paper, and you've cut them off. So now you want them to help you, and you've cut people off. You want the media to help you. You want your message spread, but you've cut them off.
Yeah. And the players really don't understand what goes into the broadcast deals and the fact that you are now screwing over sponsors. The amount that, huge sponsors put into broadcasts like Macca's, Westpac, sponsored segments of speaking to, say, the player of the match, right? It screws up all of those things. They don't understand the flow-on effect it has with broadcasters, right? So
last Monday, we were all about Origin. Bradman Best, Queenslanders are wankers or whatever. I hate them. That was cool.
Exactly.
That's starting to sell tickets.
Yeah.
Did you hear anything about Origin over the weekend?
Nothing, because no one could talk about Origin.
The biggest what?
We couldn't hear from debutantes on the weekend. We couldn't hear from someone after a Golden Point win. All of those sorts of things. And regardless of what they're fighting over.
And it's not we. See, so this is what I said. And I had an argument with Wayne Bennett. When Wayne Bennett stopped talking to the media, when some people, I said, Wayne, you're talking to your fans. You are not talking to the media. Your direct message is to the fans. You know all the players while they wear those NBA singlets? Because LeBron James talks to them all the time. LeBron James, you can walk into an NBA. If I get accreditation, I can interview those guys before they go tip the ball. We can't get them to do an interview on Tuesday. They can be telling their own messages in the media. So how they want to get their messages across, but they say that they don't want to talk to the media. This is another gripe on the players. But the ones that are getting paid.
They'll do it to get paid.
So they do it to get paid. So don't worry about the young kids that are trying to get their name and get their sponsors and get their boots. So young Tallis Duncan scores a great try, right? Great moment.
It would be perfect to hear from him and his family.
Can't talk to his mates. Can't talk to his coach. Can't just say, hey, it's a great moment and smile. Seriously, Clint.
Yeah.
Like that kid's moment, right, was big.
Yeah.
Like in his career, he's played 18 minutes of first grade. He comes on in his second game of first grade and does that and can't talk to whether his grandmother's sitting at home or whatever. He can't give her a message.
That's what's, it's actually sad. Moments like that, it is quite sad.
That's the point that if I was talking to the players, don't cut off the people that love you. And it could be your own family that live somewhere else or someone that's seeing you for the first time.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't think I found one former player, coach, administrator, anyone who not one has come out and said it's a good idea. Not one.
Clint Newton to save face because he hasn't been able to get his job done, and this is his last. He's clinging on by the skin of his teeth, and I feel that, and I wish I didn't. But if he knew what he was doing, he would have come and said, "Hey, Gordy," and that would have been the points.
Yeah. I know.
That would have been the point.
They buried the headlines in everything. They've got all this. They're not making it
it's not
simple.
about money, but they want money for this. It's not about money, but they want money for that. It's not about money, but, mate, it's not going to cost you too much. It ends up costing you a fortune, pyramid scheme. But that's what he wants. So everything he wants, it's all for money.
Yeah. And then you don't understand
understand.
Gordy, but you've played. And I've copped a lot of that too. You don't understand.
You haven't played.
Which I actually find
and then he tells people, hold on,
yeah.
Oh, no, you haven't played the game. What about that one?
I actually...
He's rolled that one out.
When I've been getting that, I actually have
and Kurt Capewell said that Abdo, mate, you haven't played the game, obviously. Hey, Kurt, I'm going to give you a message. I like Kurt.
Yeah.
Right, I think he's from Charleroi. He's a good kid. Really, really nice kid. I don't think Kurt's run a business.
Exactly.
Kurt, you haven't run a business. You couldn't run the NRL, right? So come on, let's just not get that lowbrow and have Clint Newton or whoever's doing it sending out all these pot shots at the leaders. That's not how you're going to get the job done, right? Abdo's been classy. The game's been classy. Get someone that can get the deal done. If that was your own manager and you were paying him per meeting, you'd be broke.
I know. I find it quite offensive. I've had that said to me over the last week, and I felt like saying to a lot of them, actually, my brother probably went through more serious injuries than any of you, has faced more adversity than any of you. I've seen what he's been through, with his face completely smashed in, 10 plates in his face.
Has the Players Association reached out to him?
Well, he went through a really difficult time.
No, has the Players, that was a question, have they?
Since...
Yeah, like when all that was happening.
Look,
it's been
I'll just say
since I was
quite
playing.
broadly, whether it's like the support wasn't great at the time. Probably more so from a club point of view with the West Tigers.
Yeah, so players. So when you do fall off your perch, I'd like to ask Jarrell Yee, Alex McKinnon and those guys, like I really would.
Yeah.
Because I know that the family leagues helped.
Yeah.
You know, I know they help like a lot of guys that have fallen on hard times, but I'm not sure whether this is.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why it's clear as mud, because I haven't, and I rang Clint to get his side. I rang to get the player's point of view. Because I said I'm a player. And I sit and I could deliver it, and I couldn't. It was an hour and something. I nearly missed my plane with little Billy. And it was as clear as mud, and it's an hour that I'll never get back. Yeah.
Still clear as mud, and probably will be for another few weeks. But anyway, let's talk about some actual footy.
Thank Christ. I was about to cry.
Well, a little bit of controversy.
It's just shit, really.
It is.
It is just like you wake up and you should be happy, should be Origin, you should be talking about this. And you just wake up dull. Anyway.
Well, you probably won't like talking about this either with the Titans. Gordy sees...
We're still in it.
Okay.
I think we're 90. How many points do we have? 20? 19? I sort of looked at it. I think from 14th...
20 points.
On 20 points. The 8's on 22 or 24. 22. So there you go. So we're on 20.
Still
so we're
hopeful.
one game. Well, you are hopeful, right? I don't want to come out with the term mathematical yet, right?
Well, Tim Sheen said last week the Tigers can still make it.
Mathematically, we're still in there. Yeah. You say I got a chance? No. So it was disappointing yesterday, but Aaron Clark was offside, right? Yeah. But that's not an excuse. He was offside every field goal. They're leaving early. Like I was with Jimmy Graham. There's not a guy that's played the game in the last 100 years that doesn't get a head start. We call it a head start. Not offside, but you're leaving early. So you're not standing offside. You just leave when the ball's about to hit the ground. I actually don't know.
So would you have blown the whistle?
I'm glad that the referee did, but he's got to blow it now for the rest of the year and the rest of his life. If that's his refereeing stance, and if that's his stance, he's got to do that for the rest of the time. Because let me tell you something, when the Titans were going for their field goal, and I reckon if we stopped it there, you know, and you know what happened? Poor Aaron Clark, but if they all went together, so... Mate, if they all go like it's normally in the 70th minute, right? Line speed's so poor, isn't it? Like you watch the game, then all of a sudden someone's going to get a field goal. Even the front rower looks like Usain Bolt. Yeah. Like they all get there. So how do they get to that 15 metres or whatever? You know, because normally they give. So there's 10 metres from the ruck, the pass 16 metres. By the time they pass, the players have run 16 metres. That's pretty quick. After 79 minutes. So, look, I think it's the right goal. I just hope that every referee keeps on doing that. And I think Wayne Bennett said it was a brave decision from the ref, but we don't always see those brave decisions.
What about your man, Tino? The Dogs are doing their very best to try and lure him.
Offering a pub? I'm making a comeback.
Well, if a pub's on offer, you're coming back.
If there's a pub, mate, you watch the boys put their hands up. No, that's...
Well, the NRL have already come out and said, that is not happening.
You can't be a sponsor of a club and offer a player. That is a massive breach of the salary cap. So this is another part where I didn't like when Ben Hunt was getting chopped around to the Titans and he's asked, like, I felt sorry for the Dragons fans. Like, I really feel sorry for the fans. And I know the situation sometimes, you know, when they do sign a player, like when Melbourne lost Greg Inglis, it was huge. But when he had signed for South, like the buzz around South. Yeah. So I get that stage of it, but not when there's speculation and he's got two more years to go of a contract. I like if he's finishing a year and he's got 10 more games to go with that club and I'm not going to be here anymore. This is my last 10 games. Next year I'm going to go play for the Sharks. Even that's a bit murky, but the Sharks fans are going, mate, we've got this guy coming next year, and the other club's a little bit disappointed, but they probably get behind him as long as he has a go. So, but with all this and the players, they're not supposed to talk to them, but and we know that every club does, but we just got to stop it because I didn't like when Ben Hunt, I don't like negotiations out in public. I think it's poor. I think it's poor management when that happens because it should be private. And it's about like the Players Association. It's about, you know, Mitchell Moses. Like, you know, like, mate, we had to talk about that every week. You know, just get the deals done behind.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think the Titans showed that. When they signed Desi, no one knew. Is that a better way to do business?
I would imagine so.
Or the way the Dragons got their coach?
Mm.
Which one do you like as a fan?
Or the Des deal.
Because they're both tough decisions, right? They are. Like, they're
Yeah.
very tough decisions. Like, you're telling someone that they're not going to be at your club, but it's quick, it's done, and
Got
everybody
to rip the
moves on.
Band-Aid off, and we stop.
Yep.
We don't talk about it then for 4
Well, we don't.
months.
It's
then.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were Tino, well, you obviously
He's
wanted
already
to stay.
been, look, until Tino comes out, and I can't, look, he's playing Origin, but until he comes out and shows that he's the leader of the Titans and says that, it's going to stay around.
Yeah.
So Tino in his leadership has been fantastic on the field, and we all know the player that he is. He's one of the best forwards, but until he comes out and shows leadership off the field and goes, hey, I'm staying here, and Dave goes, it's going to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it affects them or not. So they've both been offered the farm before. They've both been offered a lot of money. They're both on a lot of money. They're not the $600,000 players or the $500,000 players, getting it. They're on pretty good coin.
Yeah.
So they'd have to be offered the farm.
Alrighty, Gordy. So we've got this ladder up.
Yes. Right.
So
28 points is leading the competition.
Yep.
Penrith and Brisbane, they're playing finals.
Yeah. They're a lock.
Yeah, they're locked. Sharks, Storm, I reckon they're
Yep.
playing in the finals. I'm not sure top 4, but certainly they'd be in the top 8. Then you got the Raiders, Warriors, Eels, and Rabbits. I would lock in the Eels and the Rabbits.
Definitely Rabbitohs because they've got Latrell to come back and they've just got too many classy players.
Right, so then the Raiders, they're sitting pretty at the moment, but it was the Origin period, and they always historically they go really good through the Origin period. They don't have a lot of Origin players, and now with Papali'i and Big Jack White and saying out, they've won some games and they are looking pretty. So you would think that they're a chance of staying in the 8. And the Warriors, I think we would all love.
We want them to.
Yeah,
but
and then we go outside the 8. So the 9th, the Cowboys on 22. You think
I think the Cowboys will sneak in.
Well, who are you going to leave out then?
I'd have to leave out Warriors or Raiders.
And they're on 26 and 24. Not the
To be honest, I haven't looked at their run home.
Yeah, no, mate. We're going and listen.
Should I have done more research before this segment?
Why would we want to research? And then you got Manly without Tom.
Who's not making your 8? Which of those sides?
Right. I still give the Roosters a rough chance if they all come back out of Origin and they find their mojo. I give the Titans a chance. I give Cowboys. I think Manly without Tommy, the hill climb will be too big. And I think the Dolphins, well, they were lucky to beat a real understrength Titans yesterday. If we get a few more decisions, Pereira pushes off, he drops the ball. So he sort of gifted them probably 12 points there as well. So,
so the Raiders still have a bye. Then they've got the Knights, the Tigers, and the Dogs. So that's a relatively,
so you're
what's the way of putting it?
So you're writing the Tigers off.
I was going to say easy, but that's a bit slack. An
the Dogs
draw.
were good.
Yeah, but
Toby
they're
Sexton
not
the other
playing.
day come there.
They're not playing the top 4 sides.
Okay,
it's probably one of the more favourable draws. That's probably
the Raiders get in there then.
So who we?
Yeah.
Warriors?
Do you know what? It might stay there, and you might just get the Cowboys finishing on the same amount of points, and it comes back to 4 and against.
Yeah.
9 going into 8. Is that what you think might happen?
Perhaps. I mean, the Eels too.
You're not convinced. I'm not convinced. But they've played really good. The Zahn Arce has played really good without Dylan Brown and Moses. I think Parramatta have turned the corner. Plus, they've got most of their players back. So, do you know what? Just with respect of
it's hard to go from a grand final to missing
all the way
8.
down. So, and that would be a huge fall from grace. And they've had injuries, but and they still got a suspension to get through in Origin. But you would think that when the whips are cracking, Parramatta are going to be hard to beat. Obviously, the good side, you don't know whether they're good enough to beat those, but all the ones underneath them, you think that they would beat.
So you are locking in. You're having a few that might.
Yeah. Oh, look, the Titans, mate.
So Titans are in there.
Cowboys. Do you know at the beginning of the year, I did say three of the 4 Queensland teams would play finals. So Cowboys need to get in there and the Titans. But I actually do give the Roosters, Titans, Sea Eagles, Cowboys a chance of forcing it in the way because we don't know.
Yep.
I don't, but that's what I said. Without Tommy, but Manly for some reason, with Daly Cherry Evans the season that he's having, and some of the other players, I think they're if they play at Brookvale and it's a sellout, Manly's hard to beat.
Mm.
You know, it's just how their mojo goes when they're away from there. And I see Chicka White shaking his head because he's probably I don't know who he supports. He probably supports.
Does he support?
Probably North. You know, the side that got kicked out of the comp.
And the Eagles' run home is tough as well. Cowboys, Storm, Panthers, Broncos, Roosters. Ooh.
Yeah, they mightn't make it.
That's the research. That's the research we could have done before we came in.
Yeah, next week I'm going to do some research.
No,
and
you're not. You're not.
No.
No, I'm not going to either.
Why would we?
Rock up and
Mate,
gibber.
Hey, listen, it's just lunchtime chat on a Monday. How did your team go?
And just finally, shout out birthday to Reece Walsh and Adam Reynolds. So Reece Walsh is 21 today.
Yes.
And Adam Reynolds is 33 today.
Wow.
So
I would jump out of a cake for Reece Walsh.
Yeah. Because of how he plays or his looks?
How he plays.
How important?
I wouldn't say his eyes are that dreamy.
Oh.
Ah, gotcha.
Look, not usually. Wouldn't usually.
I think that's what my wife says. God, Reece Walsh is such a dreamy player. I said, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
See, that's a shame because when he gets interviewed,
yeah, he is denying all
the blokes out there that want to see him and their wife just turning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Bit of hope.
Look at all those that get lost in Reece Walsh's eyes.
Yeah, Reece, we just got to sign you, so you got to just talk. You just got to talk for the men of rugby league.
Come on, Reece. How useful or how valuable has Reno been for young players like Reece Walsh? And do you think it's important to have that balance in the spine of like complete opposite ends of the spectrum, beginning of your career and
well,
end?
It's super important. When I first started my first grade career, I had blokes like Wally Fulton Smith, and they had kids, and they're just more mature. They've made all the mistakes they've done. Also, for Reece Walsh to have someone like that, just as a sounding board, he goes, "Don't do that," because you've made those mistakes along the way, and it'd be silly if Reece wasn't listening to him. And you see the way Ezra Mams played and his combination with Adam Reynolds, how it's grown. So Brisbane are a totally different side this year, and especially with those two on the field. And happy birthday to both of them.
Happy birthday, and get this deal sorted for a number of reasons, but most importantly, so Gordy, you can get lost in Reece Walsh's eyes.
That's it. And the fans.
Yes.
And you know what? We're back to normal.
Please get it sorted. So for next week's edition of Footy Talk.
Sold out games. Everything's buzzing.
Let's get it done, and we'll see you all next week.